a jazz critic. Has it this topic was taken by ma'am or
Ma'am,
Maybe
not.
not, ma'am.
No, man.
no? Okay. He was offered the poet laureateship in 1984, but he declined. He was offered the poet laureateship in 1984, but he declined. He don't wanted to be a poet laureate. He was honored by various awards and medals, gold medals. He was honored W.H. Auden, W.B. Yeats, and Hardy. He wrote many essays on against many controversial essays for political views. He wrote many controversial essays for politics, misogyny, and racism, racism by colonization. By colonization, he has wrote around 200 plus poetry. He has written. Sorry, he was a good friend of Dylan Thomas. To
Ma'am, screen
works,
is not visible.
it's not visible.
It's
It's
visible, ma'am.
visible now. Okay. Okay, he was a great friend of Dylan Thomas. Now his works. First work, The North Ship. The North Ship, 1945. 1945. This collection he has created when he was in Oxford. इसके बारे में ज़्यादा information नहीं है, so just write. He created this collection when he was studying in Oxford. Second point, it is a collection of 32 poems. It is a collection of 32 poems. Okay, इसमें कोई भी ऐसी poem नहीं है which you need to read. Next work, 20 poems, 1951. Third work, The Less Deceived. The Less Deceived, 1955. This is called as the first mature collection of his poetry. This is called as the first mature collection of his poetry. It is a collection of 36 poems. It is a collection of 36 poems. Now the best poems out in the collection, best poem in the collection are first, which you need to remember. Lines on a young lady's photograph album. Just do remember the name of that. Church going. I think that name is very much familiar to you. ये तो सुना होगा. क्या हुआ? I'm not audible क्या ढंग से? आप लोग जवाब नहीं दे रहे हो.
No, ma'am. I haven't heard this one.
You never heard the name. This is a very important poem by him. Do remember that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, in this poem, he showed a serious mood. इसमें इसके लिए लिख लो. A serious mood is shown in the poem for Christianity. In the poem for Christianity and cynicism for religion. That is also being discussed. Fine, here he is saying that while being a child, when he used to walk on cycle, when he used to roam on cycle at different places, he don't understand why he stopped when a church came. He had a different kind of cynicism for religion, Christianity, and going to church, and again he is feeling that he is a part of it and he is going again matlab, to the church to, uh, to find himself, to know more about Christianity or something like this is being shown in the poem. Okay?
Yeah.
नहीं आया समझ में? Well, a very
Ma'am, what is cynicism?
सन की बना इसका cynic means kind of sana kind of what should I say? I don't know.
I got it, ma'am. I got
हाँ हाँ तो हाँ बताओ क्या कह रहे थे रोशनी समझ में आ गया आपको और किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है बेटा
What is cynicism?
cynicism cynicism is like a different kind of passion or you can say how I should explain it Cynicism is passion, you can say, for anything, but it's a negative term.
Ma'am, in the beginning you mentioned one thing that he
Hmm.
was a jazz critic. Can you please explain what is a jazz, ma'am?
Jazz is a kind of a music that is African music used to be played in America and England because there were many slaves. So they used to play jazz music which is very loud. आप लोगों ने Africans को नहीं देखा jazz music पे dance करते हुए kind of drums and stereos they used to have and have a different style of dancing. No,
Yes, ma'am.
that is called jazz music, and he was a critique of that should not be there. And another thing, Mohan asked for cynicism. Cynicism, yes, Yogesh has said the right word. That is a kind of madness, a self madness for self passion, self madness to know something, to do something that can be for anything. Okay, so that is church going. And other poem in the collection is third poem. Write down in the collection. I remember. I remember. Oh, my E is not. I remember is the another poem of this collection. That's it. Now we are going for the next collection or next poem of this collection that is also very famous. Fourth is Toads. Next poem is Toads. Is a famous one. Here he has talked about the frogs at the time of rainy season. It's a complete nature poem in which he has talked about the frogs in the rainy season. Next is The Whitsun Wedding 1964. The Whitsun Wedding 1964. Anyone has read it? ये तो DU में भी है और JNU उसमें है JNU में भी है DU में भी है it's an IGNU also.
It's in our syllabus also, ma'am. It was.
Okay, in West Bengal. It's a most famous poem because at the
Yes,
time
ma'am.
when it was written, 4,000 copies were sold at that time only because it's a very interesting poem if someone has read it. The Whitsun Wedding. First of all, इसमें poems तो काफी सारे हैं collection की poem ये नहीं दे रखा है. Yeah, 32 poems. It has 32 poems and important ones are first जो important one है इसके अंदर that is Whitsun wedding. ठीक है, Whitsun wedding is basically a day. Write down about Whitsun wedding. It is a day in the month of April. It is about a day in the month of April, not a day but a week. Yeah, here poet described about the week after Easter in the month of April when the government of England lifts the wedding charges for the poor so that they all can marry without paying heavy amount for in taxes in churches. So this is basically main theme is this, main subject is this that English government used to lift the charges of wedding जो wedding charges इंग्लैंड में होते हैं वो इस विट्सन वीक के अंदर हटा दिए जाते हैं that is in the month of April after Easter and people are allowed to go for a free marriage. They don't have to pay anything for a week only. तो इस टाइम पे बहुत हैवी बुकिंग्स होती हैं ऑल द पीपल इन द कंट्री साइड एरिया शेफर्स पुअर पीपल यूज टू रजिस्टर देयर मैरिज इवन मतलब एक एक साल पहले से वो मैरिज रजिस्टर करते रहते हैं अपनी कि हमें तब करनी है विट्सन वीक के अंदर करनी है ठीक है तो नाउ ही व्हाट इमेज ही हैज गेन ही हैज described the image and scene of countryside area of England, London, countryside area of London. While traveling in a train, he found the stations and train compartments are full of married couples and guests. ठीक है तो he is saying that I am here I am traveling into a train. He is going somewhere and he said that uh, all the stations are full with all the stations, but there is no station on which he is unable to find the married couples or the couples who are going to marry in the particular dress. And even the guests are there in the train who are going to attend some marriage. They all are talking about marriage, marriage, marriage. And the countryside area, the countryside scene, greenery is being also described. He said the London countryside area was very green, but now it has converted into the factory yards, because everywhere when the train has crossed London, he was expecting to have some green image, the fields and all, but now the fields are converted into the factory lane. Everything is a dry and trodden blocks, which are being converted into the factory outlets or the factories. Industries are here. The smelly things are there, and when the train crossed the entire area of London, then only he was able to see some kind of greenery, and the soothing things were there in his eyes. That is Whitsun wedding with the sunlight, because April is the month when the sunlight is at the fullest. Got it, guys? समझ में आई ये poetry? This is very important. नहीं आया समझ में?
Yes, ma'am. And there is a contrast, maybe, ma'am. While the poet was traveling, he was just comparing the gay among this guest and the married couple, and he was just talking about the weather of the outside in the month of April. So he gave a contrast, maybe. I can vaguely
Yeah,
remember.
definitely he has given that. So he talked about various stations and the Saturday, Whitsun Saturday afternoon after the Easter. Okay, fine, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ तो कब बोलोगे?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Now, next poem in this collection, second poem in this collection is just a minute. That is Mr. Bleeny. Mr. Bleeny. Okay, here Mr. Bleeny is the speaker, who is old man sitting in his house and describing the image which he is seeing from his window. He has rented a house and he is just describing the landscape. Okay, not much is there, but the name is important. Next is Toads Revisited. Toads Revisited. Fourth poem, important one, is MCMXIV. Whosoever can read the number, what number is this, will be a genius. बता सकते हो ये रोमन नंबर क्या है?
14.
14.
ये केवल 14 है?
Yes, ma'am. Voting.
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
It's 1914 when the World War One has started. Write down. तभी मैंने कहा जो पढ़ेगा ना वो जीनियस होगा. 14 तो लास्ट का वर्ड है. XIV, that is 14. What is MCM? Is 1900. 1914.
मैम स्कूल में पढ़ाया ही नहीं MCM.
नहीं पढ़ाया था, मुझे ध्यान है. हम लोग के लिखते हैं फॉर पढ़ाया है.
करवाया है मैम. करवाया है मैम.
400.
ये रोमन नंबर्स पढ़े हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है, हमने पढ़ा है ये सारा. हाँ भूल गए, मैं खुद भी भूल गए. ऐसा नहीं है, हम लोगों के पास सब्जेक्ट ही नहीं है ये, तो फिर हम भूलेंगे ना, ऑब्वियस सी बात है. Because C we use for centuries and all, so MCM must be for 1900. Okay, and then 14. 1914. Now, this is, write down about this poetry. This is written in quatrains. Poem is written in quatrains and described. It is written in quatrains. It describes the momentum change in England with the beginning of World War One. With the beginning of World War One. यहाँ यहाँ पे he has given a quotation, never such innocence again, never such innocence again. Okay, now next poem, write down wild oats. आप लिखना चाहो तो लिख सकते हो, वैसे इतना जरूरी नहीं है. एम्बुलेंस एंड वाइल्ड ओट्स, ये भी क्या है, काफी सारे सिलेबस के अंदर मेंशन है, इसलिए लिखवा रही हूँ. एंड ऑर्डर टर्म्स एंड नो मनी. वाइल्ड ओट्स लिख लो बस, कभी पूछ ले, बाकी कोई जरूरी नहीं. नाउ नेक्स्ट कलेक्शन.
Ma'am, what is this wild?
ओट्स, ओट्स नहीं खाते हो? ओट्स, ओट्स खाते हो ना?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is what he is asking, talking about. Fifth is high windows. High windows, 1974. तो इस कलेक्शन के अंदर जो फर्स्ट पोयम है वो यही है. फर्स्ट पोयम इज हाई विंडोज. सेकंड पोयम है दिस बी द वर्ड्स, this be, and high window is considered as one of the best poem of the collection, and high window is considered as the best poem of the collection.
Ma'am, how many poem in this collection?
24. Only 24 poems. Now his fiction, ये तो था poetry का. Now in his fiction there is only work which you need to read, is A Girl in Winter.
Ma'am, this be the words. Shall we read this poem?
No.
Okay, ma'am.
1947. A Girl in Winter. It's a prose. It's a novel by him. It's a novel written by him. इसके लिए लिखो because he was a poet and he wrote a novel. John Osborne said the most underestimated work. The most underestimated work by him. The story is of just a 12-hour period. A story is of just 12 hours period of a working girl. Of a working girl. That's it. This is your Philip Larkin. Now we are going to do second writer today. Ted Hughes. Fine. What poets finished Panda earlier? Seamus Hani रह जाएगा. Ted Hughes. Ted Hughes.
मैम किंग्सले एमिस.
करवा दूंगी वो भी. वो नॉवेलिस्ट के अंदर आएगा, उसमें नहीं आएगा. 1930, 1998.
मैम ये हमने लिस्ट में तो नहीं लिखा था ये.
लिखा है, आप देखो लिस्ट देखो. टेड ह्यूज नहीं लिखवाऊंगी. टेड ह्यूज तो पोएट लॉरेट था. ही वाज अ हस्बैंड ऑफ सिल्विया प्लाथ. मेजर पोएट है, कैसे नहीं लिखवाया मैंने? हो ही नहीं सकता. एक बार अपनी लिस्ट चेक करो. वही लिस्ट से चल रही हूँ मैं जो आप लोगों को दी है.
नहीं लिखवाया मैम.
नहीं
फिलिप
नहीं लिखवाया
लार्किन,
मैम.
मैं आप
किंग्सले एमिस.
हाँ देखो
फिर
आप.
इसके
एक सेकंड
डीजे
आप ये लिस्ट देखो अपनी, जिसमें राइटर्स हैं जो मैंने लिस्ट आप लोगों को दे दी थी ना. लिस्ट ऑफ राइटर्स पोइट्स के अंदर टी एस इलियट, डब्ल्यू डी येट्स, डब्ल्यू एच ऑर्डन, विल्फ्रेड ओवन, डिलन थॉमस, फिलिप लार्किन, टेड ह्यूज, वॉर पोएट्स, स्टीफन स्पैंडर, सीमस हैनी. लिखा है ये?
यस मैम.
अभी हम मोमेंट पोर्ट्स चल रहे हैं ना.
नहीं बेटा, मोमेंट पोएट्स नहीं चल रहे हैं. मैंने आपको कहा था मोमेंट पोएट के केवल नाम ध्यान रखो, और उसके बाद आप लोगों को मैं इंडिविजुअल ये राइटर्स करवाऊंगी, बिकॉज फिलिप लार्किन, टेड ह्यूज, ये सब बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एंड दे आर नॉट मोमेंट पोएट्स. जो आप
ओके ठीक है मैम.
हाँ, किंग्सले एमिस जो है ही इज फेमस एज अ नॉवेलिस्ट. तो उनको नॉवेलिस्ट देखो, प्रोज राइटर्स की लिस्ट में किंग्सले एमिस लिखा हुआ है. ठीक है, तो उसमें करवाऊंगी
Yes,
आप
ma'am.
लोगों को. डोंट वरी.
यस मैम.
30 राइटर्स की लिस्ट मैंने ले रखी है, वो भी करवाऊंगी. डोंट वरी.
Yes, ma'am. It is given there. We can see this thing there also. वो
हाँ,
modern writing की list
वो
में आपने
मॉडर्न
लिखवा
राइटर्स
रखा
की
है।
लिस्ट करवा रखी है और मैंने आपको कहा था कि जितने भी मैंने पोएटिक ग्रुप्स करवाए हैं उनको सिर्फ याद रख, उनका आपको एज सच कुछ भी नहीं करना है, ठीक है। कहा था ना ये चीज आपको कि एज सच उनको ज्यादा डिटेल में रीड नहीं करना है, केवल उन्हें सिंपली याद रखो और कुछ नहीं करना। गॉट इट?
Yes, ma'am.
Famously called animal poet.
हाँ, he is also called animal poet. Write down, because इनके mainly subject, he was the poet laureate also, तो इनके बारे में write down. He was a children's poet, critic, and animal poet. A critic, animal poet, children poet. He became poet laureate in 1984. When Philip Larkin rejected it, he became poet laureate in 1984. He became poet laureate in 1984. He was listed. He was listed fourth number by the Times list. By the Times list of 50 greatest poets of England. He was listed at the fourth number from the 50 greatest poets of England. Now write down his poetry collection, his poems and works. First, The Hawk in Rain. The Hawk in Rain, 1957. It's a collection of 50 poems. It's a collection of 50 poems. In this collection, he focused on. In this collection, he focused on relationship, erotic relationship, and stories of World War One. Write down, and stories of World War One. Okay, stories of World War One. Okay, he has made a strong use of. He has made a strong use of sponge, trochee, alliterations, onomatopoeia, and hyperbole. Onomatopoeia and hyperbole. Other poems in the collection. Second is the Jaguar, the Thought Fox, Fourth, the Decay of Vanity, the Martyrdom of Farrar. Bishop Farrar. These are the basically the poems in this collection, first collection. Now,
Ma'am, what is the first one? The Hawk in the Rain.
yes, another poem जो इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट नाम भी याद रखेंगे तो काफी है, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं पूछेंगे। ल्यूपर कॉल 1960, थर्ड is Crow, 1970. It is again a collection. इसके बारे में लिखो। Subtitle is From the Life and Songs of Crow. From the Life and Songs of Crow. He has dealt with in this collection the various mythologies and tricksters related to crow in Christianity. Various mythologies and tricksters are related to crow. Okay, ये इस कलेक्शन में इन्होंने बताया है. Then it was written on the request of an American artist. The poem Crow was written on the American artist Leonard Baskin. Leonard Baskin. Now next work, the fourth one is Wolf Watching. Wolf Watching 1989. Not such important. Tales from Ovid 1997. Tales from Ovid 1997. It's an award. In this work, he translated 24 tales of 24 tales from Ovid. There are many. अगर बुकर वगैरह या कुछ ऐसा होता पुलित्जर होता तो मैं बता ही देती. देयर आर लोकल अवार्ड्स लाइक बुक ऑफ द ईयर, वाइट ब्रेड अवार्ड, ऐसे 3-4 अवार्ड मिले हुए हैं, इसलिए मैंने कहा अवार्ड विनिंग है. ठीक है, तो ही हैज ट्रांसलेटेड 24 tales. He has in this work he translated 24 tales from Ovid's Metamorphoses. Next work is sixth one is Birthday Letters. Birthday Letters 1998. It's a collection of 88 poems. It's a collection of 88 poems. It was written in the response of the suicide of his third wife, Sylvia Plath, an American poet and writer. He has married 3 times and all the 3 wives have suicided. It basically concerns about the Ted Hughes controversy. Write down, it basically concerned about Ted Hughes controversy. And then comes the last work, Collected Poems, 2003. It was published after his death. Of other poetry, but no need to go for it.
डिटेल में किसको पढ़ना है?
कौन सा डिटेल में किसको पढ़ना है? जितना मैंने पोएम्स के बारे में बताया है बस आपको उतना ही पढ़ना है. नो नीड टू गो इन द मोर डिटेल्स ऑफ एनी पोएम. ठीक है,
Okay, ma'am.
Only the summaries and the important facts.
हाँ बस that's it because they are not going to ask anything. Now Seamus Haney. Seamus Haney. He is an Irish poet, 1939 to 2013, an Irish poet, Nobel Prize, 1995, and he is best known for his work Death of a Natural. So, बाकी इनके बारे में ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं. He described himself as, हाँ ये लिखो. He described himself as,
वर्क कौन सा मैम? डेथ.
अभी करवाऊंगी बेटा. He described himself as most important poet after Yeats. Now his work, Death of a Naturalist, 1966. It's a collection of poems. In this collection, he has made an exclusive use of onomatopoeia. He compares the behavior of the amphibians to humans. ठीक है लिखा another poem in this collection. इसके अलावा जो सेकंड पोएम है वो है पर्सनल हेलिकॉन
मैम ये इसी कलेक्शन में पोएम
हाँ
है
हाँ
कि
हाँ इसी
second?
कलेक्शन की ही बता रही हूँ ठीक है पर्सनल हेलिकॉन which dealt with Greek mythology. थर्ड है इसमें digging which talked about the cyclic nature the cyclical nature of environment. Okay, and also he also mentions some special skills of his father. बस इस कलेक्शन में ये तीन ही मेन पोएम्स हैं जो आपको देखनी है नेक्स्ट इज मैं नाम ही बताऊंगी ज़्यादा आपको इनकी पोएम्स पढ़नी नहीं है फेमस हैनी इज नॉट वेरी मतलब well taken poet in your net examination so I will also take in the same way. Now, second collection is Door into Dark. You don't need to go into the any poem of that. Door into the Dark, 1969. Now, third is Venturing Out, 1972. Venturing Out, 1970. In this poem, he talked about Ireland only, the winters of Ireland. Next, fourth is North, 1975. It's a collection of poems which deals with the issues and troubles in Northern Ireland, divided into two parts. बस इतना लिख लो. Fifth is Station Island, 1984. Station Island, 1984. This is a totally political collection. It's a totally political collection. Six,
Ma'am, it's a poetry collection.
political collection या poetry collection तो सारे ही हैं but it's a political collection. Next is the spirit level 1996 award winning collection and second detail is it talks about the Dutch and Irish people under the rule of England. Now, seventh is Human Chain 2010. Again, award-winning collection. Again, it's an award-winning collection. It has around 20 poems. It has now next is and the last is selected poems. 1967 to 1987. This is like all the poetries are again collected and published. He has written many plays and translations and other things, but only this thing is as a poet he is important because he was he was a poet laureate, so definitely. Ninth is collected poems, 2009. Right? 2009. This is your famous Hanny. Fine. अभी पोइट्स आपके ऑलमोस्ट सारे डन हो चुके हैं